We are live, unoriginal FC, back in the car. Boy, you see the man on the screen, Jayson Tatum. Right now, he's probably the hottest topic in basketball this week. Not probably, he is the hottest topic in basketball this week. And this is because he was a DNP. He did not play in the Olympic opener versus Serbia. Now, was that the right decision? Was Steve Kerr justified in doing so? I believe so. I believe he was more than justified in doing so. The results paid off. Now I get it. It was wild disrespectful not to give Jayson Tatum any playing time. But I'm going to be very honest with you. I weren't mad at the decision. In fact, I kind of agreed with the decision. I think Team USA had the most dominant performance against an elite opponent, probably the most elite opponent they will face, if not one of them, in Serbia. And Team USA had the most dominant performance. The guy that Jayson Tatum was taking up minutes for in KD, Kevin Durant, he returned and showed you that there's levels to this. There are levels to this. And I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not the biggest fan of Jayson Tatum's game. I'm not. We watched him in the postseason this year, and he absolutely struggled. He shot poorly, even with his team providing the best spacing, some of the best spacing in NBA history. That Boston Celtics team provided some of the best spacing in NBA history. And Jayson Tatum shot poorly from the field. He struggled in the playoffs. He struggled throughout the playoffs. Yes, the box scores may show a different story. The box score looks decent. You know, people always run to the closeout game in the finals where he had 31, 10 and something. Can't remember the final stat line. But when you actually watch the game, and this is why eye test is important, when you watch those games, it matters when you get your buckets, at what times you get your buckets. And when we watch Jayson Tatum, his points, yes, they had an impact, but not as much of an impact as the likes of a Jaylen Brown. Derek White at a lot of points in the playoffs had more of an impact than Jayson Tatum. Jayson Tatum has had his stock diminished quite a bit since winning a championship. And it's weird because usually after a championship, you'd think, you know, your stock would rise through the roof, but it actually seemed to be the opposite for Jayson Tatum, you know? But honestly, I'm not with the outrage. I don't agree with the outrage. I don't agree with a lot of the outrage in the media about why Jayson Tatum didn't play against Serbia. Because the bottom line is Team USA blew them the hell out. And Team USA blew them out with the guy whose minutes that Jayson Tatum was taking, and Kevin Durant. Bro, when you watch Kevin Durant perform like he did, like, how can you come away from that game thinking, oh, Jayson Tatum should have got some minutes? Why? Jayson Tatum struggled throughout the warm-up games leading up to the Olympics. He struggled. He has. He hasn't shot well. He hasn't played well. Would I give him some minutes in the next game? Sure, I'd give him some minutes in the next game. Would I give him minutes over something like Derek White? Sure. I do see the disrespect in that. You know, Derek White is a role player on the Boston Celtics, and he's getting more minutes over Jayson Tatum, who is the franchise player on his team. You know what I'm saying? So I do see the disrespect in that. But ultimately, the decision paid off. It did. It worked. The Team USA had the most dominant performance. So I'm not going to sit here and bash Steve Kerr for not playing Jayson Tatum. I'm not. I understand why Boston Celtics fans will be up in arms and you know, losing their absolute minds over the fact that Jayson Tatum didn't get any minutes. But I, for one, say, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Don't fix it. And honestly, somebody's got to miss out. But this speaks to a larger point surrounding Jayson Tatum, man. And when it comes to Jayson Tatum, and I think Boston Celtics fans also need to be a little honest when it comes to Jayson Tatum. I genuinely believe Jayson Tatum has regressed. I don't think Jayson Tatum is the player he was a couple of years ago. I think Jayson Tatum was a better player a couple of years ago. I genuinely believe his game has regressed. I think he is fairly limited offensively. I think when you're 6'10" and built like Jayson Tatum is, Jayson Tatum has broad, big shoulders. He has a very athletic body. Very muscular, very strong, very quick. And he has the height, 6'10", as I've said. Is Jayson Tatum a good finisher? No. Jayson Tatum, at his big size, with his grown man body, is an underwhelming finisher. His mid-range game, flat as to deceive. Great shooter, but even his shooting becomes streaky at times. As we've seen in the playoffs, he didn't shoot the ball well at all. At all. And these are the facts that a lot of Boston Celtics fans need to understand. And I think a lot of Boston Celtics fans, if they're very honest with you, they will also tell you that, Jayson Tatum is not the Jayson Tatum of 2 years ago. He's not. He's regressed. He's not as good as a player as he was 2 years ago. And that's me genuinely being honest. Could you find some more minutes for Jayson Tatum with the games up and coming on the schedule? For sure. Especially when Derek White gets 16 minutes. You can definitely find 5 minutes for Jayson Tatum. You know what I mean? Derek White shouldn't be playing more minutes than Jayson Tatum. I understand the disrespect there. But if I'm Steve Kerr, would I go out of my way to really change up what we had in the last game? Nah. Because Serbia is a team that many pegged the USA to be facing in a gold medal match. So if that's your best competition and you absolutely obliterated them with the rotation that you had in the Olympic opener in that game, honestly, if you're Steve Kerr, why would you want to change that? I wouldn't want to change that. I think for Jayson Tatum, listen, you're a champion now. All of that outside noise, it don't really mean much. What I'm talking about on this video, it shouldn't really mean much to you. If anything, you should use it as motivation. I think he will. I think he's going to use it as motivation next season. I think Jaylen Brown is going to come back with a chip on his shoulder next season. Just use it to motivate you. But if we're being honest about Jayson Tatum and his game, he hasn't performed well for Team USA in these warm-up games. He performed well for Team USA at the last Olympics, but those last Olympics were 4 years ago. He's a different player now. And I don't necessarily think he's a better player now. So it's a tough pill to swallow for Jayson Tatum. Was he disrespected? Yeah. I could definitely say he was disrespected. I could definitely agree with him if he feels as though he was disrespected. Would I change anything from the lineup or from the rotation? No. Would Jayson Tatum be a DNP again if need be? Yes. Especially when I have Kevin Durant and LeBron James and Steph Curry. Bro, I'll be real, there's levels to this, man. Kevin Durant showed you within a quarter and some change. There's levels to this, man. At the wing spot, there are levels to this, bro. There's levels to this game, man. If Jayson Tatum was struggling to shoot efficiently with the best spacing in the league by far, how do you think he's going to fare at FIBA when the court is condensed? He's going to struggle, and he has struggled. That's the truth of it. He has struggled. He's struggled for months now with his shooting. He has. I don't know what it is with him. I don't know what's happened to his game, but there's some things that he needs to tweak, man. He needs to tweak some things in off-season. So, yes, I believe Steve Kerr was justified in his decision. But, listen, when you see Derek White, who's a role player in your team, telling you to go hand him some Gatorade bottles, telling Jayson Tatum to keep his Gatorade bottle cool. Yeah, I hear it, man. I hear the disrespect. I hear it. It ain't nice, man. It ain't nice at all. It ain't nice at all. With that being said, like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Continue to share, continue to support. Unoriginal FC, over and out. It's going to be interesting to see how many minutes Jayson Tatum does get against South Sudan, because, again, Steve Kerr has made it a point that, Steve Kerr did say in that post-game interview that he would be giving Jayson Tatum minutes. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens. But yeah, with that being said, Team USA play tomorrow. I'll definitely be tuning in. Probably make a video about that as well. So stay tuned. Over and out.